Have you ever felt overwhelmed by your thoughts, as if they control you instead of the other way around? Or maybe you find yourself struggling with emotions that seem to take over in moments of stress. What if you could transform your mind and emotions to work for you, not against you? These questions lead us to a powerful journey toward mastering ourselves. Imagine waking up each day with a sense of calm and purpose, knowing how to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience. This isn't just a dream. It can be your reality. In today's fast-paced world, we often forget to pause and reflect on what truly matters. But through the wisdom of Buddhism, we can learn valuable lessons that guide us towards self-mastery and a more fulfilling life. Welcome to Wisdom Woven, your sanctuary for growth and enlightenment. In this video series, we will explore 10 powerful lessons that will help you master yourself and embrace the transformative journey that lies ahead. Remember, the insights we share here are not just ideas. They are keys to unlocking a deeper understanding of yourself. Now, before we dive in, let me encourage you to take a moment to engage with our channel. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% subscribe. So please, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support means the world to us, and it helps us reach more people who are on their journey of self-discovery and mastery. Let's embark on this incredible journey together. In the next parts, we'll delve into essential lessons that will guide you toward a more harmonious and empowered life. Stay tuned, and let's start mastering ourselves today. Understanding the nature of mind. Today, let's dive deep into the nature of the mind. It's the one thing that shapes everything we experience, our thoughts, emotions, and actions. But how often do we really take the time to understand it? Many people go through life without ever questioning how their mind works or why it behaves in certain ways. But in Buddhism, understanding the mind is the first step to mastering yourself. The mind is like a river. It's constantly flowing, never stopping for even a moment. Thoughts come and go like waves. Sometimes they are calm and gentle, but other times they are turbulent and overwhelming. If you don't know how to manage these waves, they can toss you around, pulling you under. But if you learn how to navigate them, you can ride the waves with grace, no matter how rough the waters get. Think about it. How often do you find yourself caught up in thoughts? Perhaps you're worrying about the future, or replaying a conversation in your head, wondering if you said the right thing. Or maybe you get lost in daydreams or fantasies, escaping reality for a while. This is what the untrained mind does. It pulls us in different directions, taking us away from the present moment. But the more we understand the mind, the more we can anchor ourselves in the here and now. Let's start with one of the most important truths. Your mind is not you. This might sound strange at first because we tend to identify so closely with our thoughts. But if you take a step back, you'll see that your thoughts are just passing events. They come and go, sometimes without you even realizing it. You don't control every thought that enters your mind, and yet, you often let them control how you feel and act. This brings us to a key point. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. Just like a person standing on the shore, watching the river flow, you can watch your thoughts without getting swept away by them. The more you practice this, the more clarity and peace you will find. Imagine you are sitting in a room, and outside the window, there is a busy street. Cars are zooming by, people are talking, and the noise is constant. Now, you have two choices. You can either sit by the window, focusing on all the chaos outside, or you can move away from the window, creating some distance between yourself and the noise. The noise doesn't stop, but it doesn't affect you as much anymore. This is what happens when you begin to understand your mind. The noise of thoughts is still there, but it no longer disturbs your inner peace. Buddhism teaches us that the mind is like a mirror. When the mirror is dirty, it can't reflect things clearly. In the same way, when our minds are clouded by negative thoughts, distractions, and emotions, we don't see the world or ourselves clearly. We become trapped in illusions, fears, anxieties, and desires that cloud our judgment and prevent us from experiencing life fully. The practice of self-mastery begins with cleaning that mirror, making the mind clear so it can reflect reality as it is. A clear mind is a powerful mind. When you are not constantly distracted by thoughts, you can focus your energy on what truly matters. You can listen deeply, not just to others but to yourself. You can make decisions that align with your true values, rather than being driven by fleeting emotions or external pressures. This clarity allows you to respond to life with wisdom instead of reacting out of habit or fear. One way to begin understanding the nature of your mind is through mindfulness. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It's about observing your thoughts, feelings, and sensations as they arise, without getting attached to them. When you practice mindfulness, you begin to see how often your mind drifts into the past or the future, how easily it gets caught up in stories and fantasies. For example, let's say you're washing the dishes. Your body is there, doing the task, but where's your mind? Is it focused on the warmth of the water, the sound of the soap bubbles, the weight of the plate in your hand? Or is it thinking about something that happened earlier in the day, or worrying about tomorrow's tasks? This is the nature of the mind. It always wants to be somewhere else. But when you bring your mind back to the present, even the simplest tasks can become opportunities for peace and clarity. Mindfulness is a tool for training the mind, helping you become more aware of how it moves and how it distracts you. As you practice, you'll start to notice patterns in your thoughts. You might see that certain situations trigger specific thoughts or emotions. Maybe you realize that stress causes your mind to become scattered, or that certain people bring out feelings of irritation or insecurity. This awareness is the first step in mastering the mind, because once you recognize these patterns, you can begin to change them. The Buddha often compared the mind to a wild elephant. A wild elephant is strong, powerful, and unpredictable. If it's not trained, it can cause destruction. But once it's trained, it becomes a great asset, able to carry heavy loads and perform tasks with precision. In the same way, our mind, when left untrained, can create chaos in our lives. But when we learn to train it, the mind becomes our greatest ally. So how do we train this wild elephant of a mind? It begins with patience and practice. Just like training an elephant takes time and consistency, training the mind requires dedication. It won't happen overnight, and there will be days when it feels difficult or even impossible. But with persistence, you will start to notice changes. The mind will become less reactive, less easily swayed by every passing thought or emotion. You will begin to cultivate a sense of inner stability, even in the midst of life's challenges. Another important aspect of understanding the mind is recognizing that it is always changing. Just like the river, it is never the same from one moment to the next. Thoughts, emotions, and experiences are constantly shifting. This impermanence can be frustrating when we cling to certain ideas or outcomes, but it can also be freeing. Once we accept that change is a natural part of life, we can stop resisting it and learn to flow with it. This brings us to one of the most profound teachings in Buddhism. Everything is temporary, including the mind states. When you feel joy, it will pass. When you feel sadness, it will pass. The key is not to get too attached to any one state, whether it's positive or negative. When you learn to observe the mind without getting attached, you create space for peace, regardless of what's happening around you. As you continue on this journey of self-mastery, remember that the mind is not something to be feared or controlled harshly. It is a powerful tool, but like all tools, it must be used wisely. By understanding the nature of your mind, you are taking the first step toward true mastery. It is a journey of patience, observation, and compassion, both for yourself and for others. The more you understand your mind, the more you will understand yourself, and the more you will be able to live a life of purpose, clarity, and inner peace. In the next part, we will explore how to develop emotional intelligence, an essential skill for anyone looking to master themselves. But for now, take a moment to reflect on what we've discussed. Observe your thoughts, your feelings, and your reactions. Begin to see them for what they are, temporary events that do not define you. As you do this, you will start to experience a deeper sense of freedom and control over your life. Developing emotional intelligence. In our journey towards self-mastery, one of the most profound lessons we can learn is the art of emotional intelligence. This concept, often misunderstood, goes beyond simply recognizing our feelings. It involves understanding emotions in ourselves and others, and using this awareness to guide our thoughts and actions. Imagine a time when you felt anger rising within you, perhaps during an argument or a stressful situation. What if you could pause in that moment, recognize that anger, and choose how to respond. This is the essence of emotional intelligence, being aware of your emotions and understanding their impact on your behavior. In Buddhism, emotions are seen as natural human experiences, not something to be suppressed or ignored. Every emotion has its purpose. Anger can signal injustice, sadness can reflect loss, and joy can remind us of what we value. The key is not to let these emotions overwhelm us, but to observe them with a sense of curiosity and understanding. To develop emotional intelligence, we first need to cultivate self-awareness. This means taking the time to reflect on our feelings and their triggers. When we feel upset or happy, we should ask ourselves, why do I feel this way? What led me to this emotion? Journaling can be a powerful tool for this reflection. Writing down our thoughts and feelings helps us clarify our emotions and identify patterns in our behavior. Once we understand our own emotions, we can begin to tune into the feelings of others. This requires empathy, the ability to put ourselves in someone else's shoes. When a friend shares their struggles, instead of offering quick solutions, we should listen deeply. Ask questions like, how did that make you feel? Or what do you need right now? This kind of engagement helps strengthen our relationships and creates a supportive environment for growth. An important aspect of emotional intelligence is learning to manage our reactions. In the heat of the moment, we might instinctively lash out or withdraw. However, by practicing mindfulness, we can pause and choose a more constructive response. Techniques like deep breathing or counting to 10 can create space between our feelings and our actions, allowing us to respond with intention rather than impulse. Another key element is recognizing the role of emotional regulation. This doesn't mean ignoring our feelings, but learning how to express them appropriately. For instance, instead of yelling when we feel angry, we might express our frustration calmly. This way, we communicate effectively without escalating a situation. Practicing I statements can be helpful here. Instead of saying, "You always do this," we might say, "I feel upset when this happens." This shift encourages open dialogue and fosters understanding. As we develop our emotional intelligence, we also enhance our ability to handle stress. Stress often leads to emotional outbursts or withdrawal. However, when we are attuned to our feelings, we can identify when we are becoming overwhelmed and take steps to care for ourselves. This could mean taking a walk, meditating, or talking to a friend. These practices help us maintain balance and clarity in our emotional lives. Moreover, emotional intelligence is essential for effective communication. When we understand our emotions, we can express ourselves more clearly and listen more attentively. This leads to healthier relationships, both personally and professionally. In a workplace, for example, being emotionally intelligent means recognizing when a colleague is struggling and offering support rather than criticism. Cultivating emotional intelligence also involves embracing vulnerability. It's okay to admit when we're feeling sad or anxious. Sharing our struggles can create connections with others, fostering a sense of community. We all face challenges, and by being open about our emotions, we encourage others to do the same. This mutual understanding creates an environment where everyone feels safe to express themselves. In Buddhism, the practice of loving kindness, or metta, is a beautiful way to enhance our emotional intelligence. It begins with developing love and compassion for ourselves, and then extending that compassion to others. Start by wishing yourself happiness, health, and peace. Once you cultivate these feelings for yourself, visualize sharing them with others, your loved ones, acquaintances, and even those you find challenging. This practice fosters empathy and a deeper understanding of human emotions. As we conclude this part on emotional intelligence, remember that it is a lifelong journey. We will always encounter situations that challenge our emotional awareness. The important thing is to remain committed to growing and learning. Each experience, whether positive or negative, offers a lesson in understanding ourselves and those around us. By embracing emotional intelligence, we not only improve our own lives, but also enhance our relationships with others. As we navigate the world, let us do so with an open heart and a mindful mind. In the next part, we will explore how to embrace mindfulness in our daily lives, allowing us to deepen our connection with ourselves and the world around us. Stay tuned for more insights on this transformative journey, embracing mindfulness in daily life. In our busy lives, it is easy to get lost in the rush of daily activities. We often rush from one task to another, our minds swirling with worries about the future or regrets about the past. But what if I told you that the key to peace and happiness lies in the present moment? This is where mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness is simply the practice of being fully aware of what is happening right now. It invites us to pay attention to our thoughts, feelings, and surroundings without judgment. Imagine sitting quietly, feeling the ground beneath you, noticing the sounds around you, and simply breathing. This is mindfulness in action. Think about a moment in your day when you felt completely engaged. Perhaps it was during a meal, where each bite tasted delicious, or while walking in nature, where every leaf rustled in the breeze. Those moments of awareness can be transformed into a mindful practice. To embrace mindfulness, start with small steps. Begin each day with a few minutes of mindful breathing. Sit in a comfortable position, close your eyes, and take deep breaths. Inhale slowly through your nose, feeling your chest rise, and exhale gently through your mouth. Focus on the sensation of your breath. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your breathing. As you go about your day, try to bring this awareness into everyday activities. When you wash your hands, notice the water's temperature and the feeling of the soap. When you eat, savor each bite and appreciate the flavors and textures. By practicing mindfulness in small ways, you can cultivate a deeper sense of presence in your life. Mindfulness also teaches us to observe our thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them. When you feel anxious or stressed, instead of pushing those feelings away, acknowledge them. Say to yourself, "I feel anxious right now." Then, take a deep breath and let that feeling pass, like a cloud drifting through the sky. This practice of observation allows you to create space between you and your thoughts. It gives you the power to choose how to respond instead of reacting impulsively. Over time, this can lead to greater emotional resilience and clarity. One important aspect of mindfulness is compassion, both for yourself and others. When you practice being present, you become more aware of your feelings and the feelings of those around you. You may start to notice when someone is upset or struggling. This awareness opens your heart and helps you respond with kindness. Mindfulness can also help improve your relationships. When you listen to someone with full attention, free from distractions, you are showing them that they matter. You are not just hearing their words, you are connecting with their feelings. This connection fosters deeper understanding and trust. However, it's important to remember that mindfulness is not about perfection. There will be days when your mind feels scattered, or when you find it hard to focus. That's okay. What matters is your intention to return to the present moment. Just like a muscle, your ability to be mindful grows stronger with practice. Another beautiful aspect of mindfulness is its connection to nature. Spend time outdoors and allow yourself to be fully immersed in the experience. Notice the colors of the leaves, the scent of the earth after rain, and the warmth of the sun on your skin. Nature has a wonderful way of grounding us and reminding us of the beauty of the present moment. If you find it challenging to incorporate mindfulness into your life, consider joining a local meditation group or exploring mindfulness apps. These resources can provide guidance and support on your journey. As you embrace mindfulness, you may find that it brings a sense of peace and balance to your life. It allows you to savor the simple joys and navigate the challenges with greater ease. With each mindful breath, you are cultivating a deeper connection to yourself and the world around you. In conclusion, embracing mindfulness in daily life is a transformative practice that can lead to a more peaceful and fulfilling existence. By being present, observing your thoughts and emotions, and fostering compassion, you are taking powerful steps toward mastering yourself. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about being present and open to the beauty of each moment. Let mindfulness guide you on your journey to self-mastery, cultivating compassion and kindness. In our journey toward self-mastery, one of the most powerful lessons we can learn is the importance of compassion and kindness. These qualities not only benefit those around us, but also enrich our own lives, bringing a sense of peace and fulfillment. So, let's explore how cultivating compassion can transform our daily experiences. Compassion begins with understanding. It requires us to look beyond ourselves and recognize the struggles of others. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to judge someone without knowing their story? Perhaps you saw a stranger in distress and thought, "Why can't they handle it better?" But remember, everyone is fighting battles we cannot see. When we practice compassion, we shift our perspective. Instead of judgment, we can respond with empathy. We may not have all the answers, but simply acknowledging someone's pain can lighten their burden. Kindness is a natural extension of compassion. It's about doing small acts that can have a big impact. Think about the last time you smiled at a stranger or held the door open for someone. Those little gestures may seem insignificant, but they create ripples of positivity. Each act of kindness strengthens our connection to others and reminds us that we are part of a larger community. In Buddhism, compassion is a core principle, often referred to as karuna. It's a commitment to alleviating suffering, not just for ourselves but for all beings. When we cultivate this quality, we align ourselves with a deeper purpose. It's a reminder that our happiness is intertwined with the happiness of others. To nurture compassion, start by being gentle with yourself. Recognize that it's okay to have flaws and to struggle. Just as you would show kindness to a friend in need, extend that same kindness to yourself. This self-compassion allows you to fill your heart with love, making it easier to share that love with others. A beautiful practice to develop compassion is to engage in loving kindness meditation. Find a quiet space, close your eyes, and take a few deep breaths. Begin by wishing yourself well. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. Then, expand this wish to others. Picture a loved one and say, "May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe." Continue to extend these wishes to acquaintances and even to those you find difficult. With time, this practice opens your heart and creates a profound sense of connection. Compassion also invites us to listen deeply. In our fast-paced lives, we often rush through conversations, thinking about our responses rather than truly hearing the other person. By practicing active listening, we show others that they are valued and understood. It's not just about hearing words, it's about feeling emotions. When someone shares their struggles, resist the urge to fix their problems immediately. Instead, listen with an open heart, allowing them to express themselves fully. One way to bring compassion into your daily life is to volunteer or support causes that resonate with you. Whether it's helping at a local shelter, participating in community cleanups, or simply being there for a friend in need, these actions cultivate a spirit of kindness. The more you give, the more you'll realize that kindness has a way of coming back to you. In our pursuit of self-mastery, it's crucial to remember that compassion is not a finite resource. The more you practice it, the more it grows within you. This inner abundance allows you to respond to life's challenges with a calm and loving presence. Imagine facing a difficult situation, perhaps a disagreement with a loved one, or a stressful day at work. When you approach these moments with compassion, you create space for understanding and resolution. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, you can respond with kindness, fostering harmony rather than conflict. Let's not forget that compassion also extends to our relationship with the environment. Our planet is facing significant challenges, and as we cultivate compassion, we must include all living beings in our awareness. When we care for the earth and its creatures, we nurture our own well-being. Simple actions like reducing waste, supporting sustainable practices, or even planting a tree reflect our commitment to compassion on a broader scale. In the end, cultivating compassion and kindness is about creating a positive cycle. When you act with compassion, you inspire others to do the same. Your kindness can be a light for someone who feels lost in darkness. It can encourage them to spread kindness in their own lives, leading to a ripple effect that transforms not just individuals but entire communities. As we continue our journey toward self-mastery, let us carry this lesson with us. Embrace compassion and kindness as essential tools for personal growth. When you approach each day with an open heart, you not only uplift yourself but also contribute to a more compassionate world. In the words of the Buddha, compassion is the root of all happiness. Let that be our guiding principle as we move forward. The power of detachment. In our daily lives, we often cling to people, possessions, and outcomes. We believe that happiness comes from having certain things or being with specific people. But what if I told you that true happiness lies not in attachment, but in detachment? Detachment is a powerful tool in Buddhism that can lead to freedom and peace. Detachment does not mean indifference or apathy. It does not suggest that we should stop caring about others or let go of our dreams. Instead, it means letting go of the heavy burden of expectations and the need to control every aspect of our lives. When we detach from our desires and attachments, we open ourselves to a world of possibilities. Imagine you are holding a beautiful flower. You love this flower. It brings you joy and beauty. However, if you hold on to it too tightly, you risk crushing it. The flower will wilt, and you will be left with nothing but the memory of its beauty. But if you hold it gently and let it be, you can enjoy its beauty without destroying it. This is the essence of detachment. Detachment allows us to experience life more fully. When we are attached to a specific outcome, we often find ourselves anxious and stressed. We worry about what might happen if things don't go our way. But when we practice detachment, we release this anxiety. We begin to trust that whatever happens is part of our journey. We learn to accept life as it unfolds, without clinging to our expectations. Consider the story of a young monk who was deeply attached to his favorite robe. He believed that his robe made him a good monk and brought him closer to enlightenment. One day, the robe was stolen. The monk was devastated. He searched everywhere and became angry and sad. But then, he remembered the teachings of Buddha on detachment. He realized that his worth did not come from his robe. He could still practice compassion and mindfulness, no matter what he wore. This moment of realization changed everything for him. He began to understand that true happiness and peace come from within, not from external things. He learned to focus on his actions and thoughts, rather than on what he owned. The monk's heart lightened, and he found joy in serving others and living in the present moment. Detachment also allows us to see situations more clearly. When we are attached to an idea or person, our vision can become clouded. We may fail to see the truth of a situation because our emotions are too intense. By practicing detachment, we create space to observe and reflect without judgment. This clarity helps us make better decisions and respond to challenges with wisdom. Now, let's explore how we can cultivate detachment in our lives. The first step is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness teaches us to be present and aware of our thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them. When you find yourself feeling attached to something, take a moment to pause and breathe. Acknowledge the feeling without judgment. Notice how it makes you feel, but remind yourself that these feelings do not define you. Next, try to identify the things or people you are attached to. Make a list if that helps. Once you have this list, ask yourself why you feel attached. Is it out of fear of losing something? Or is it because you believe that this person or thing will bring you happiness? Understanding the root of your attachments can help you see them more clearly and begin the process of letting go. Another powerful practice is to visualize letting go. Picture yourself holding on to an object that represents your attachment. Imagine gently releasing it, watching it float away like a balloon. As you do this, feel the weight lift from your shoulders. This simple visualization can help reinforce the idea that you can find peace without clinging to external things. Additionally, cultivate gratitude for what you have. Instead of focusing on what you lack or what you fear losing, take time each day to appreciate the present moment. Express gratitude for the simple joys in life: a warm cup of tea, the laughter of a friend, or a beautiful sunset. When we focus on gratitude, we naturally become less attached to what we do not have. Detachment also extends to relationships. It's essential to love and care for others without being overly attached. When we depend on others for our happiness, we risk losing our sense of self. Instead, nurture your relationships by enjoying the moments you share without relying on them for your fulfillment. This approach fosters deeper, more meaningful connections based on mutual respect and understanding. Finally, remember that detachment is a practice. It takes time and patience to cultivate this powerful skill. Be gentle with yourself as you learn. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and remind yourself that every step toward detachment brings you closer to inner peace and happiness. In conclusion, the power of detachment offers us a path to freedom from suffering. It allows us to embrace life's impermanence and accept that change is a natural part of existence. By letting go of our attachments, we create space for joy, clarity, and deeper connections with ourselves and others. Embrace the journey of detachment, and you will discover a profound sense of peace and fulfillment that can transform your life. Building resilience through adversity. Let me tell you a story. There was once a bamboo tree, young and small. The wind would blow strongly through the valley, and all the plants around it would bend and sometimes even break. But the bamboo stood tall, bending with the wind but never breaking. In time, it grew stronger and taller, no matter how fierce the storm became. You see, the bamboo understood one thing. Strength doesn't always come from standing rigid, but from learning to bend when life gets tough. This is resilience. Resilience, in its simplest form, is our ability to recover from challenges, setbacks, and difficulties. It's how we endure and grow from the storms life throws our way. Just like the bamboo, we need to learn to bend but not break. Life can be unpredictable. Sometimes, things don't go our way. We lose jobs, relationships, or opportunities, and it's easy to feel crushed. But resilience teaches us that even in the darkest times, we can rise again. Adversity is a part of life. It's something we all face, in different forms and at different times. But here's the truth. Adversity is not the enemy. It's not something to run from. Instead, adversity is a teacher. When we face difficulties, we have the chance to learn and grow. We become stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. This is one of the most valuable lessons Buddhism teaches us. Suffering and hardship are unavoidable, but they can also be our greatest teachers if we learn to embrace them with an open heart. Now, I know it's not easy to see hardship as a teacher. When you're in the middle of a storm, all you feel is the wind pushing you, the rain beating down on you. But let me ask you this. When was the last time you truly grew as a person when everything was going smoothly? Growth often happens in times of challenge, not comfort. We may not like it, but it's true. The pressure we feel in difficult times is what shapes us, like how a diamond is formed under extreme pressure. Think of the Buddha. He faced great challenges before reaching enlightenment. He left his royal life, faced hunger, uncertainty, and hardship in his search for truth. Through this adversity, he grew and gained the wisdom that he later shared with the world. This path wasn't easy, but it was necessary for his transformation. Likewise, our own struggles, though painful, are what help us grow into stronger, more compassionate versions of ourselves. So how can we build resilience? First, we need to change our mindset. Instead of seeing difficulties as problems, we must view them as opportunities for growth. This shift in perspective is powerful. When you see adversity as a challenge rather than a roadblock, it becomes easier to navigate. The situation may still be hard, but your approach is different. You begin to ask, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this experience? Another way to build resilience is by practicing mindfulness. When you're mindful, you become more aware of your thoughts and emotions in the present moment. This awareness helps you avoid getting swept away by negative emotions during tough times. It's like standing on the shore and watching the waves instead of being pulled under by them. You can acknowledge the difficulty without letting it consume you. With mindfulness, you learn to pause, breathe, and respond with clarity rather than reacting impulsively out of fear or frustration. In Buddhism, we talk about the concept of impermanence. Nothing in life stays the same forever, not even our struggles. When we understand that everything is temporary, it gives us hope. We realize that even the hardest times will pass, and we can endure them. This understanding of impermanence is a key part of building resilience. It helps us remember that, just like the seasons change, so will our situation. The storm will pass, and the sun will shine again. Another important element of resilience is self-compassion. Often, we are our own harshest critics. When things go wrong, we may blame ourselves thinking, I should have done better, or I'm not strong enough. But this kind of thinking only makes the situation worse. Instead, we must treat ourselves with kindness, just as we would a dear friend going through a tough time. Self-compassion gives us the strength to keep going because it reminds us that we are worthy of care and forgiveness, even when we stumble. Building resilience also requires patience. In today's fast-paced world, we often want quick solutions and immediate results. But true resilience is built over time. It's a slow and steady process, much like how the bamboo grows strong and tall over the years. When we are patient with ourselves and with life, we allow time to do its work. We give ourselves the space to heal, reflect, and grow. This patience is an essential part of our journey towards self-mastery. Now, I don't want you to think that being resilient means you have to face everything on your own. Seeking support from others is also a form of strength. Whether it's friends, family, or a community, having a support system can make all the difference when facing adversity. Buddhism teaches the importance of sangha, or community, in our spiritual journey. We are not alone on this path, and by leaning on others, we share both our burdens and our joys. Resilience doesn't mean isolation. It means knowing when to reach out for help and when to offer it to others. Resilience is not about avoiding hardship or pretending everything is okay. It's about facing life's challenges with courage and grace. It's about bending like the bamboo in the wind, knowing that you have the strength to stand tall again once the storm passes. And, most importantly, it's about understanding that through adversity, we grow into the person we are meant to become. So the next time life gets difficult, remember that you have the power within you to not only survive but to thrive. You are capable of rising above any challenge. This is the path of resilience, and through it, you will master yourself. The journey is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Stay strong, be like the bamboo, and trust that every storm is shaping you into a stronger, wiser, and more compassionate version of yourself. Overcoming ego and self-centeredness. In the path of self-mastery, one of the most significant obstacles we encounter is the ego. The ego often presents itself as the voice that says, "I am better than others," or "I deserve more." It seeks validation and recognition, often leading us to prioritize our desires above everything else. But in Buddhism, we learn that overcoming this ego is essential for true happiness and connection with others. Let's start by understanding what the ego is. Imagine a balloon filled with air. The ego is like that balloon. It expands and inflates with every compliment, success, or achievement. While it may feel good to receive praise, this inflated sense of self can quickly lead to arrogance and self-centeredness. We begin to view the world through a narrow lens, focusing solely on our needs and wants, neglecting the feelings and needs of others. Think about a time when you felt envious of someone else's success. Perhaps a friend got a promotion at work or achieved a personal goal. Instead of celebrating their success, the ego whispers, "Why not me?" This reaction can create distance in relationships and foster negativity. It is essential to recognize these moments and understand that they stem from an inflated sense of self. To overcome the ego, we must practice humility. Humility is not about thinking less of ourselves, but about thinking of ourselves less. When we acknowledge that everyone has their struggles and victories, we can begin to shift our perspective. This shift allows us to cultivate compassion and empathy for others, recognizing that we are all connected in this journey of life. Meditation is a powerful tool for quieting the ego. When we sit in stillness, we create space to observe our thoughts without judgment. During meditation, you might notice the mind racing with thoughts of comparison and competition. Acknowledge these thoughts, but don't let them define you. With practice, you will learn to detach from the ego's voice and connect with a deeper sense of self that is not reliant on external validation. Another way to overcome the ego is through acts of service. When we dedicate our time and energy to helping others, we step outside ourselves. Volunteering at a local shelter or simply lending a hand to a neighbor can ground us in the present moment and shift our focus from me to we. These acts not only benefit others, but also nourish our spirits, fostering a sense of belonging and connection. Self-reflection is crucial in this journey. Take a moment to think about how often your decisions are influenced by the desire to be seen or praised. Do you seek approval on social media? Are you driven by the need to impress others? By recognizing these patterns, you empower yourself to make conscious choices that align with your values rather than the ego's demands. Embracing vulnerability is another vital step in overcoming self-centeredness. Often, we hide our true selves behind a facade of confidence and control. However, allowing ourselves to be vulnerable can create genuine connections with others. Sharing our fears, failures, and struggles opens the door for empathy and understanding, reminding us that we are all human. As we journey further along the path of self-mastery, let's remember that overcoming the ego is not about eradication. Rather, it's about understanding and managing it. The ego will always be a part of us, but we can learn to observe it without attachment. When we stop identifying solely with our achievements or failures, we can experience life with a sense of freedom and authenticity. In Buddhism, the concept of no-self teaches us that the self is an illusion. When we cling to the idea of a permanent self, we create suffering. By letting go of rigid identities, we open ourselves to new possibilities and experiences. This doesn't mean we lose our individuality. Instead, we find a deeper connection to the world around us. A practical exercise to cultivate awareness of the ego is to practice gratitude. Each day, take a moment to reflect on the things you are grateful for. This practice helps shift the focus from what we lack to the abundance we already have. When we acknowledge the support and love from those around us, we realize that our achievements are often the result of collaboration and connection. Let's also consider how language reflects our ego. Words like I, me, and my often dominate our conversations. While it's natural to use these pronouns, try to incorporate more inclusive language. Replace I with we when discussing shared experiences. This simple change can foster a sense of unity and diminish the ego's hold. Finally, understand that overcoming the ego is a continuous journey. There will be times when it resurfaces, and that's okay. The key is to remain patient and compassionate with yourself. Acknowledge moments of ego-driven behavior, learn from them, and strive to do better next time. In summary, overcoming ego and self-centeredness is essential for mastering ourselves. By practicing humility, engaging in self-reflection, embracing vulnerability, and cultivating gratitude, we can gradually diminish the ego's influence in our lives. This journey leads us to deeper connections with others, allowing us to experience the beauty of compassion, understanding, and shared humanity. Through this path, we find true freedom and a more fulfilling existence. Finding balance between desire and contentment. In our lives, we often find ourselves caught between two powerful forces, desire and contentment. Desires can drive us to achieve great things, but they can also lead to suffering if we become too attached to them. Contentment, on the other hand, brings peace and satisfaction but can sometimes feel like a surrender to what we already have. The art of mastering ourselves lies in finding a balance between these two states. Desire is a natural part of being human. We desire love, success, knowledge, and experiences. These desires motivate us to strive for our goals and improve our lives. However, when we become overly fixated on what we want, we may find ourselves in a cycle of craving and dissatisfaction. The more we desire, the more we feel we lack. This feeling can lead to frustration, anxiety, and even despair. Let's consider a simple example. Imagine you are in a beautiful garden filled with flowers. You admire the vibrant colors and sweet fragrances, and you feel a sense of happiness. However, as soon as you think, I want to pick that flower, your happiness fades. Suddenly, you focus on what you cannot have, and your desire creates a sense of longing. This longing can overshadow the beauty of the moment and prevent you from enjoying the garden. On the flip side, contentment is about appreciating what we have. It is the quiet joy that comes from being present and thankful. Contentment allows us to enjoy life's simple pleasures without being weighed down by unfulfilled desires. When we practice contentment, we can experience true happiness, regardless of our circumstances. So how do we find this balance? The first step is to acknowledge your desires without letting them control you. Recognize that it is perfectly normal to want things, but understand that your happiness should not depend solely on obtaining them. This awareness can help you detach from your desires and view them more objectively. Next, practice gratitude. Take a moment each day to reflect on what you already have. Write down 3 things you are grateful for, no matter how small. This simple exercise shifts your focus from what you lack to what you possess. When you cultivate gratitude, you invite contentment into your life. You will begin to realize that happiness can exist alongside desire. Another powerful practice is mindfulness. Being mindful means being fully present in each moment. When you feel a desire arise, instead of reacting impulsively, take a deep breath and observe it. Notice how it feels in your body and mind. Does it create tension or excitement? By observing your desires without judgment, you can create space between you and your cravings. This space allows you to choose how to respond rather than being swept away by your impulses. Finding balance also involves setting realistic goals. It's essential to have aspirations, but it's equally important to recognize that some desires may not be achievable in the immediate future. For instance, you may want to travel the world, but your current responsibilities may not allow it. Instead of fixating on the desire, focus on what you can do now. Perhaps you can plan a small trip nearby or explore your local area. This approach keeps the desire alive, but in a way that feels manageable and satisfying. Additionally, learn to let go of comparison. In today's world, social media constantly bombards us with images of other people's lives. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others, feeling like we need what they have to be happy. Remember that everyone's journey is different. Instead of looking outward, turn your gaze inward. Focus on your unique path and what brings you joy. Embrace your own experiences without measuring them against someone else's. Another important aspect of finding balance is understanding that desires can evolve. What you want today may change tomorrow. Embrace this fluidity and be open to letting go of old desires that no longer serve you. As you grow and learn, your priorities may shift. Allowing yourself to release outdated desires can create space for new passions and interests, leading to a more fulfilling life. Moreover, practice self-compassion. It's okay to have desires and to sometimes feel frustrated by them. Instead of criticizing yourself for wanting more, treat yourself with kindness. Understand that everyone experiences this struggle. By nurturing self-compassion, you create an environment where you can explore your desires without judgment. Finding balance between desire and contentment is a lifelong journey. There will be moments when desires overpower your sense of peace, and that's perfectly normal. The key is to return to the practices of gratitude, mindfulness, and self-reflection. By doing so, you will gradually learn to navigate the dance between wanting and being satisfied. Ultimately, mastering this balance allows you to live a more harmonious life. You will find joy in the journey, appreciating each moment while still pursuing your dreams. Remember, it is not about eliminating desires, but learning to coexist with them in a way that fosters happiness and fulfillment. As you move forward, keep in mind that balance is not a destination, it's a way of living. Embrace the ebb and flow of your desires and contentment, and let each experience teach you something valuable. This balance will guide you toward a deeper understanding of yourself and a more profound sense of peace in your life. Strengthening discipline and focus. Discipline and focus are two powerful tools that can help us master ourselves and our lives. They are not just about rigid rules or strict schedules. They are about creating a path that leads us to our true selves. Imagine walking through a dense forest. Without a clear path, you might get lost among the trees and underbrush. But when you have a path, you can move forward with confidence and purpose. This is what discipline and focus do for us. They provide direction and clarity. In our daily lives, distractions are everywhere. From our phones buzzing with notifications to the constant demands of work and family, it can be challenging to stay focused on what truly matters. However, when we practice discipline, we can train our minds to ignore these distractions and concentrate on our goals. This doesn't mean we have to be perfect. It means we learn to guide ourselves back to the right path when we stray. Think about a time when you set a goal for yourself. Maybe it was to learn a new skill, improve your health, or complete a project. At first, you might have been excited and focused, but as time went on, distractions crept in. Perhaps you missed a workout or procrastinated on a task. This is normal. The key is to recognize when this happens and to gently guide yourself back to your commitment. Discipline is about consistency. It's about making small, daily choices that align with your goals. Buddhism teaches us to be mindful of our thoughts and actions. Mindfulness helps us understand our habits and patterns. When we are aware of how we spend our time, we can make better choices. For instance, if you find yourself scrolling through social media for hours, take a moment to pause. Ask yourself, is this helping me achieve my goals? Is this how I want to spend my time? This simple question can shift your perspective and lead you back to your priorities. Discipline is also about self-compassion. It's easy to beat ourselves up when we fall short of our expectations. Instead, we should treat ourselves with kindness. Recognize that mastery is a journey, not a destination. Every step, whether forward or backward, is an opportunity to learn and grow. Embrace your imperfections and remember that even the most disciplined individuals have moments of struggle. One effective way to strengthen your discipline is to create a routine. Routines provide structure and help us stay focused on our intentions. Start your day with a morning ritual. This could include meditation, exercise, or reading. By dedicating time to activities that nourish your mind and body, you set a positive tone for the day. When you have a routine, it becomes easier to make choices that align with your goals. In addition to routines, it can be helpful to set clear intentions. What do you want to achieve? Why is it important to you? Write down your goals and revisit them regularly. This practice keeps your aspirations at the forefront of your mind and reinforces your commitment to them. When you remind yourself of your why, it becomes easier to stay disciplined and focused. Another important aspect of discipline is the ability to say no. In a world full of opportunities and requests, it's essential to know when to decline. Saying no can be difficult, especially when we want to please others. However, prioritizing your own goals and well-being is crucial for mastering yourself. When you say no to distractions, you say yes to your growth and development. Focus, like discipline, requires practice. One way to improve your focus is through mindfulness meditation. This practice trains your mind to concentrate on the present moment. Sit quietly and pay attention to your breath. When your mind wanders, gently guide it back to your breath. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to focus, both during meditation and in your daily life. You can also enhance your focus by breaking tasks into smaller steps. Large projects can feel overwhelming, leading to procrastination. By dividing your work into manageable pieces, you create a clear path forward. Celebrate each small victory, as these moments of achievement will motivate you to keep going. Moreover, eliminating distractions from your environment can significantly boost your focus. Identify what pulls your attention away from your work. This could be noise, clutter, or digital devices. Create a dedicated workspace where you can concentrate without interruptions. This simple change can make a world of difference in your productivity. Remember, the journey of self-mastery is ongoing. Strengthening your discipline and focus is not a one-time effort, but a continuous practice. Each day presents new challenges and opportunities to refine these skills. Embrace the process and be patient with yourself as you learn and grow. As you cultivate discipline and focus, you will notice a shift in your life. Tasks that once seemed daunting become manageable, and distractions lose their power over you. You will feel more in control of your time and your choices, leading to a greater sense of fulfillment and purpose. In conclusion, discipline and focus are vital components of mastering yourself. By nurturing these qualities through mindfulness, routines, and self-compassion, you can navigate life's challenges with confidence. Remember, every small step you take toward discipline is a step toward your true self. Embrace the journey and let your focus guide you on this path of self-discovery and mastery. Mastery as a lifelong journey. As we come to the end of our journey together in exploring the powerful lessons for mastering yourself, it's essential to understand one crucial truth. Mastery is not a destination. It is a lifelong journey. This journey is about growth, change, and becoming the best version of yourself, moment by moment. Every lesson we've discussed is like a stepping stone. You may find some easier to step on than others, and that is perfectly okay. Life is about balance, and each challenge you face helps you grow stronger and wiser. It's important to remember that mastery isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Each small step you take adds up over time. Consider the idea of a river. A river flows continuously, carving its path through mountains and valleys. It adapts to obstacles, finding ways to move around them rather than stopping or becoming stagnant. Similarly, your journey of self-mastery requires adaptability and resilience. When faced with difficulties, remind yourself to flow like the river. Embrace the changes and allow yourself to grow. As you continue on this path, make it a habit to reflect regularly. Reflection is like looking into a mirror. It allows you to see where you've been and where you want to go. Ask yourself questions like, what have I learned about myself today? Or, how did I respond to challenges? This practice will help you gain deeper insights and understand your progress. While you are on this journey, remember the power of community. Surround yourself with those who inspire you and encourage you to be your best self. Sharing your experiences and learning from others can provide you with valuable perspectives. In Buddhism, we talk about the Sangha, the community of practitioners. Being part of a supportive community can strengthen your commitment to your journey. It's also crucial to practice self-compassion. There will be days when you stumble, days when you feel like you are not progressing. During those times, remind yourself that it is okay to be human. Embrace your flaws and mistakes as part of your growth process. Treat yourself with kindness and understanding, just as you would for a friend. As we conclude, take a moment to celebrate your journey so far. Acknowledge your efforts, no matter how small. Each moment you've spent reflecting, learning, and growing is a victory. Embrace the notion that every day is a new opportunity to practice self-mastery. Now, let's talk about the importance of commitment. Mastery requires dedication. It's not just about learning lessons. It's about integrating them into your daily life. Make a promise to yourself to practice these lessons regularly. Whether it's mindfulness, compassion, or resilience, find ways to weave them into your everyday activities. You might find it helpful to create reminders for yourself. These could be notes on your mirror, daily affirmations, or even practices like meditation. Consistency is key. The more you practice, the more natural these lessons will become. Finally, remember that the journey of self-mastery is personal. Everyone walks a different path, and that's perfectly fine. Avoid comparing your journey to others. Focus on your growth and what resonates with you. Celebrate your unique experiences and insights. As you move forward, keep in mind that mastery is not a linear path. There will be ups and downs, moments of clarity, and moments of confusion. Embrace all these experiences as part of your journey. In closing, I encourage you to stay curious and open to learning. Life has so much to teach us, and every moment offers a lesson if we are willing to listen. May you continue to grow, learn, and master yourself with grace and compassion. Thank you for being part of this journey with Wisdom Woven. Your commitment to self-discovery and mastery inspires others. If you found value in this series, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your engagement helps us reach more seekers of wisdom and truth. Remember, mastery is a lifelong journey, and you have the power to navigate it with intention and purpose. Keep flowing like the river. Embrace the path ahead, and may your journey be filled with joy and insight.